Can you feel the love? Yes, it's me, Dawg Knight Live. Good morning, everybody. We'll get that music down a little bit. Hello, happy Tuesday, which on this show is normally Twitter Tuesday, although I got a lot of articles before I even started here, thanks to Gunfox. Gunfox has been the various generous tip, dropping a bunch of tens in the tip jar. Gunfox 61, or Gunfox, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much. I don't even know you can hear that over this music. God, it's loud. Turn that shit down. All right. So anyway, we got a lot to talk about today. There's a whole bunch of stuff, just big things happening. And some of them are really, really big, and some of them are just, I don't even know if it's worth talking about. But everyone else is talking about it, so I guess I'll have to talk about it too. So, you know, we'll do that thing. By the way, we're both on Rumble and on YouTube. Pick one. Well, you've already picked one, or you wouldn't be hearing me say that. But also remember, if you aren't getting notifications on YouTube, make sure you follow me on Locals. You know how that works. Anyway, yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. China, Casey Anthony, the non-binary dude that's in the Biden administration. Oh, he's in trouble. There's all kinds of stuff. And then, of course, the big, the undercard, Ye versus Tim Pool, and the main event, Musk versus Apple. That wasn't predictable. Oh, wait, I predicted that. Well, I think was it last week I talked about this? I knew what was happening. I knew exactly what was going on. Anyway, gird your loins, because there's just so much. Anyway, are y'all ready? I'm ready. I said, are y'all ready? I like this little 80s vibe, by the way, but I think it's time to play the intro. Johnny, would you please play the intro? Right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
All righty, here we are. Stop the music. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel on this Tuesday, the 29th of November, 2022. And there's only one more day in November, right? November's one of those 30 days things. Yeah. Where I live, it's in the process of dumping between 7 and 10 inches of snow on the ground. Yes, we are getting snow here in Minnesota. Shocker. Although, you know, at the end of November is not unusual, I guess, to get snow. Maybe not a huge snowstorm, but that's what the forecast is telling me. Apparently, to the west of us, where the Dakotans, the Dakotans already got a bunch of snow, and we're getting it now. Oh boy, I'm excited. I love driving around in snow. Anyway, so there's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about today, but before we do that, I want to say good morning to everybody, and I got to get right into it because I'm already kind of late. So first in the chat over on Rumble, that would be Avocado Diablo, who gets the bell. Thank you, sir, for being here. Good morning also to Mike Savage, Blarg, Septus Wolf, and Simon Wolfwood on the Rumble side of the ledger. On the YouTube side of the ledger, well, AD's been busy because he's over there too. Avocado Diablo gets the bell. Also, Simon Wolfwood JMK, good morning. Nice to see you back. Ty, oh, wait a minute. You know what? You get one of these today, Tyre. Here we go. Tyrannus Alexandrius Tremere Lich. I gotta do that once in a while. Also, good morning, Trippy Liberty. What's up, my brother? Mike Savage, Blarg. HP Lovecraft, Mystic Forest. Nice to see you again. Also, good morning to Septus Wolf, Gunfox 61. I said JMK again. And Somnambule Nation, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Also, my favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies in the house. And is that everybody? Rick Ashbringer, nice to see you. And I said JMK. Aaron Meredith, what up? Chicago Mike is in the house. And TC and Rotten Corpse and Woodcutter. So there we go. Yep, we already have snow. Yeah, I know, y'all. For west of us, have snow already. Yeah, they predict, at least in my little town, we're supposed to get 7 inches of snow. So, but as you ladies know, it'll probably be about 4. So anyway, that was awful. So, let's just get into this because, like I said, there's a ton of stuff. By the way, just a reminder, if you aren't getting notifications from YouTube or Rumble is pretty good about the notifications. As soon as you pop up a video on Rumble, you get an email. But if you want to be sure, you can also follow me on Locals. I really want to start pushing that. And if you want to support the channel, that's a great way to support it. Just do a one-time $5 a month. And like I said, I'm about to start those exclusive streams on that side. So if you're interested in that, and also the thing about Locals, you can watch the streams. Even if you're not a member, a supporter. But if you are a supporter, you can also get into the live chats there. And there's very little restrictions on what people do in the chats there. And I'm not going to put any restrictions on it. I'm just going to let it go. I mean, you can say what you want to say. Say what you want to say and let it all hang out. I'm going to say, I want to see you be brave. Oh, my God. What the hell? Where'd that come from? I hardly know that song. Hey, real quick, let me do a couple thank yous. We got Somnambule Nation and Scribe Light who have tweeted out the show. Greatly appreciated. Also Simon Wolfwood. And then Somnambule Nation who tweeted on her own. The other people hit the other ones I mentioned earlier did the retweet thing, which is great. I love that. But also, Somnambule Nation, you're Johnny on the spot. You got it out there before I did. So thank you for promoting the show. Please. You are the sponsors of the Morning and Night Live. If you'd be so kind, hit the like button, share the stream before, during, and after you see the notification. You can share that notification before I even turn the music on. And if you want to sponsor the show at pdognight.live, that's the Streamlabs link. Credit cards or PayPal, you can do that there. And also YouTube Super Chats, Venmo, Cash App, all that information is in the description below. So sponsor the show. Help make sure that I can keep doing this. Yes, thank you. I said thank you. And you said you're welcome. All right, cool. All right, so let's start with China because holy shit. Oh wait, actually, there's kind of some breaking news. Remember that rail strike thing? And this is thank you, Gunfox 81. Gunfox gave me some really, really good stories this morning. Two of them I'm going to get to right away. One, that rail strike. So, remember this? There was going to be a rail strike, and Biden kind of got them to push it off till after the election because, a lot of the rail union workers are all Democrats, so they didn't want to take a chance on getting more Republicans in Congress. So they waited until after the midterms to, maybe do their strike. But now they're kind of in an issue. They're having a little issue. Biden has been calling on Congress to head off a potential rail strike. So, and it's interesting because Omaha, that's where I grew up, is the place where Union Pacific Railroad is. I think it's still headquartered there. Anyway, President Joe Biden on Monday asked Congress to intervene and block a railroad strike before next month's deadline in the stalled contract talks. And House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who is you gonna lose your job, said lawmakers would take up legislation this week to impose the deal that unions agreed to in September. Let me be clear. A rail shutdown would devastate our economy. Oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't supposed to be funny. He's already a little bit fucked up. This would make it worse. And then what else did he say here? He said, "Oh, without freight rail, many U.S. industries would shut down." Well, yes. In fact, I was thinking about that. For example, you would think that like companies like UPS, right? UPS would be hurt because, we wouldn't be hurt because we do so much with trucks. But you know that a bunch of our package cars are delivered by rail first and then just driven from the rail place. So, for example, yesterday we had 5 full-size 52-foot trucks, trailers that came by rail that were a little bit late, and that's because they're done by rail, and then they go to take the tractors and get over there and pick them up, bring over to the facility, and then we and move all those packages. Well, that would be devastating if the railroads go on strike. And for a lot of things, a lot of food you get, a lot of everything you get, it still goes by rail. Trucks are great, but with the price of diesel too, rail is far more efficient for a lot of things. So it would be quite the mess. So anyway, in a statement, Pelosi said, "We are reluctant to bypass the standard ratification process for the tentative agreement, but we must act to prevent a catastrophic nationwide rail strike, which would grind our economy to a halt." And then she said the House would not change the terms of the September agreement, which would challenge the Senate to approve the House bill without changes. So, yeah, I gotta tell you. Also, let's see, Daily Caller was writing about this too. He asked Congress to force rail unions into an administration-brokered deal as a strike threat looms. I always wonder, they say they're going to make people, they're going to make people accept the deal. And what if they say, "Fuck you"? I mean, you can put an act of Congress, you can have the president sign an executive order, you can wish upon a star, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to strike. I don't know. Anyway, the strike would lead to nearly 765,000 Americans losing their jobs within 2 weeks of it first going into effect and have impacts across the American economy. Biden said in a statement, 8 of the 12 major rail unions have already ratified the agreement, which was initially negotiated by the administration in September, but the remaining 4 took issue with paid sick leave policies, rejecting the agreements despite a historic 24% raise. Yeah, a 24% raise. But that wasn't even their biggest issue, and that's from over 4 years, by the way. But they're mad. They're talking about sick leave policies because right now, every industry, especially in shipping and logistics, is stretched. Man, there's just people. It's funny how just people didn't want to work after all this COVID shit, and you think that when you say, "Oh, unemployment's at 3% or whatever," well, that's because they changed how they calculate unemployment, and so only people actually looking for jobs are necessarily counted, but unemployment's a lot higher than the 3% that they say it is. And part of it is because some people just aren't looking for work, and it's interesting. Kind of hoping they strike. At least look here. If they strike, we still have a freezer full of food that we've been buying extra food and just throw it in the freezer just in case something like this. We got a bunch of dry goods over there on the other side of the basement and that other room over there. And, I'm ready for that shit. But holy moly. I'm glad we haven't dug into any of this stuff that we bought either, Anyway, check your Streamlabs. Did you do it again? I'm in your stream. I read your article. I did check my Streamlabs. You're trying to kill me with this. I got you. Thank you, Gunfox. All right. So anyway, that's that. Let's move on. And now, there's 2 articles here. Here's a strongly worded statement. A strongly worded statement from POTUS. Oh, wait a minute. Let's let's read the strongly worded statement from the president real quick. Thank you, Ty Alexander, for sponsoring the show. Appreciate you. Who says he put a small bullet in the tip jar. Says, not a fan of unions, but I am in support of the rail strike. Government shouldn't be interfering with non-governmental business. They have no jurisdiction to enforce such a thing. Fuck Congress and let them strike. That, and it will be bad for pudding brain. Well, I don't know. Well, I guess some people would like that. I don't know if it'll be. Could it be any worse for pudding brain right now? Anyway, thank you very much, Tyre. Appreciate you sponsoring the show. If you want to sponsor the show, pdognight.live, right over there. See, right, way over there. Oh, it's over there. I can't reach it. Anyway, let's look at Biden's strongly worded statement. A strongly worded statement's out from POTUS on the potential rail strike where he calls for Congress to take action. Let's see this. Let's see the strongly. I'm going to write a letter. I'm a white president. Yes, that's that thing from White Chicks. Anyone knows what I'm talking about. Statement from President Joe Biden on averting rail strike. I am calling on Congress to pass legislation immediately to adopt a tentative agreement between railroad workers and operators without any modification or delay. I am doing this for you. Hello, Duck and Felonies. To avert a potentially gripping national rail shutdown, this agreement was approved by labor and management negotiators in September. On the day it was announced, labor leaders, business leaders, and elected officials all hailed it as a fair resolution of the disputes between the hardworking men and women of the rail freight unions and the companies in that industry. The deal provides an historic 24% pay raise for rail workers. It provides improved health care benefits. It provides the ability of operating craft workers to take unscheduled leave for medical needs. Since that time, the majority of unions in the industry have voted to approve the deal. During ratification votes, the Secretaries of Labor, Agriculture, Transportation have been in regular touch with labor leaders and management. They believe that there is no path to resolve the dispute at the bargaining table and have recommended that we seek congressional action. Now, look, I know that the president could never, ever talk this forcefully. In fact, he's reading a teleprompter, barely getting the words out. But I thought it was funny to do it in a Hitler-esque, excuse me, I probably shouldn't say that. The guy with the funny mustache-esque fashion, seeing as he's basically demanding that they do what he tells them to do, and it's really, he's a feeble old man. But Jay Pilot's in the house! He continues. Let me be clear. A rail shutdown would devastate our economy. Without freight rail, many U.S. industries would shut down. That's not a joke. I'm not kidding. Many union rail workers themselves could be put out of work. My economic advisors report that as many as 765,000 Americans, no, really, that's not a joke, could be put out of work in the first 2 weeks alone. Communities could lose access to chemicals necessary to clean drinking water, and also to keep my hair plugs nice and shiny. Farm ranches across the country could be unable to feed their livestock. As a proud pro-labor president, you know, I am I am from Scranton. You know, I grew up from Scranton, Pennsylvania. As a proud pro-labor president, just like in the coal mines of Scranton, I'm reluctant to override the ratification procedures and those views of those who voted against the agreement. But in this case, because I don't really give a shit, where the economic impact of a shutdown would hurt millions of other working people and families, I believe Congress must use its power to adopt a deal. Your lion, dog, face, pony social. Some in Congress want to modify. Okay, anyway, it's a strongly worded letter, and you can read the rest yourself because I'm already bored with this. So anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about China. How's that for a transition? Okay, let's talk about China. Let's talk about China. So apparently, now this is Gunfox sent me this one too. Apparently, in China, apparently they're sending tanks into the streets in a chilling echo of the Tiananmen Square massacre as Xi cracks down on white paper protests. So now I'll get to the white papers. They've been holding up blank sheets of white paper at this protest, which is pretty interesting. But here's a video. Is this video? I don't need that. Is this going to play? Yeah, these are tanks rolling into the area of protests in China. That's really loud, I know. We're going to turn that down. That's loud as hell. Let's turn that down. We'll turn it down just a bit. I don't need that. And so, now this is weird because I don't know where they got this footage, but clearly they're driving along the streets there. So anyway, tanks roll into China streets in a chilling echo of Tiananmen Square massacre. Let's turn that. Oh, what the hell is that? Is it? Wait a minute. What the hell is that? They got a little bear thing. Okay, we're going to move on. Anyway, tanks rolled in the streets of China as Xi Jinping orders a clampdown on the white paper anti-lockdown protests. Their appearance is a chilling echo of the Tiananmen Square massacre, where troops were used to brutally suppress demonstrations, prompting one man's iconic protest by standing in front of a tank. Footage of the tanks has been widely shared after several days of historic protests in China, in which demonstrators waved blank sheets of white paper in symbolic protest against censorship. Hundreds have taken to the streets in 8 cities, including Beijing, Shanghai, after the deaths of 10 people. Now let's I'm going to skip this because we kind of talked about this yesterday. So now tanks are moving into some of these cities, I guess. They have video footage of it. And here's what weird. This is I pulled this up just because this is also strange. If you notice, the White House hasn't been talking a lot. It doesn't want to say a whole lot about China. And I don't know if that's because it's part of the Biden Profit Center. But anyway, wait, you drove ice trucks and walked 10 miles and still barefoot to school. Okay, never mind. I thought you were serious. Yeah, Tiananmen 2, Chinese Boogaloo. Anyway, it's weird, though, is the White House reacted to the news of widespread protests of coronavirus lockdowns in China, issuing a mild statement supporting peaceful protests. Quote, "We've long said everyone has the right to peacefully protest. Here in the United States and around the world," read a statement from the White House National Security Council shared with reporters. This includes the PRC. That was their statement. The statement was released Monday morning after critics pointed out that the White House had not said anything over the weekend to defend the protesters during the... Well, here's why. Because they want to do that shit here. That's all I can... I mean, they really want to be able to have the power to do what they're doing over there. They want to be able to tell you, if we tell you to stay in your house, we can lock you in your house. You know, they want to do that shit. The statement was released Monday morning after critics pointed out during the White House press briefing on Monday. National Security Council Coordinator for Strategic Communications, John Kirby, that's a long title. National Security Council Coordinator for Strategic Communications. Why do you need to do strategic communications in your own country? I don't know. Repeated a similar message, noting that the president supported the overarching right to peaceful protest, unless you're a Canadian trucker, because he kind of told Justin up there to clamp that shit down because he didn't want that shit happening here. I'm just saying. I mean, that's anyway. The president's not going to speak for protesters around the world. They're speaking for themselves, Kirby said when asked by reporters if he had a specific message to the protesters of China. Really? You wouldn't say, oh, it's a Biden reference. Okay. You wouldn't say, at least, we support their right to protest, that we support what they're doing. Of course they don't, because it's about coronavirus lockdowns, and they want to be able to do the same shit to you. They want to be able to curb your speech. They want to be able to shut you up on Twitter and Facebook. They want to be able to force these companies to shut you up. So no, they don't support the protesters there because the protesters are protesting because they want free speech. And the government here, at least the government, not the Constitution, but the government that's in there now doesn't believe in that. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, for sponsoring the show.
That's right.
Who says, putting a big bullet in the tip jar, Mr. President, the 13th through 15th, banded 13th through 15th, abolished. I think you meant abolished slavery and forced labor.
That's right.
Congress cannot force private company and private individuals to work a job against their will. Go fuck yourself, Democrats and Biden. What you gonna do? Send tanks like China? Oh, damn. That's
That's right.
Oh, wow. That's pretty spicy there, Black Hebrew Israelite. And thank you very much for sponsoring the show. So anyway, and you know, because the thing they're protesting right now in China are the COVID zero lockdown policies. Well, the Biden administration wants to be able to do that shit. So anyway, also over in China, Uyghur activists want Biden administration to press China for answers to deadly building fire. Now they say remember what I said yesterday that China said only 10 people died in that apartment fire where they had people locked in and they didn't have any way to get in once the fire started? Well, the activists think that number is actually in the dozens. And I remember the first number that I heard about that was like 41 or 42, something like that. 41 people died. And so yesterday when I was reading those reports saying, well, 10 people, all the media was reporting 10 people died. Well, Uyghur activists are demanding that the Biden administration extract details from China about the fire that the Chinese government says killed 10 people trapped in a building, alleging that the true number of deaths was far higher due to China's coronavirus lockdowns. The Chinese government officially recorded 10 deaths, said Salih Hudayar, who heads a human rights group focused on China's genocide of the ethnic minority group. Photos suggest the number of Uyghurs slain was much higher. Social media posts and photos placed the death toll at 44. See, I knew I wasn't losing my mind when I saw that 10 people. They lie. They're just liars. Hello, Tyler F. Tales of Gore. Good morning. So I knew it. Let's see. State Department of Washington, D.C. Let's see. Who on Monday led a protest. This person led a protest outside the State Department in Washington. D.C. residents reportedly couldn't escape their homes. Not D.C. residents. Residents reportedly couldn't escape their homes because the doors were bolted and barred for quarantine. Barricades at the building prevented fire trucks from getting close enough to fight the fire. Video of the incident shows firefighters spraying water that failed to even reach the building. And it took hours for help to arrive. So, like I said, I thought I saw that there were more deaths than they said. Now, also, this is kind of interesting. So, as you see the headline here, pornography, escort service advertises bots, flood Twitter feeds, preventing Chinese citizens from accessing COVID protest news. Search results of current widespread protests opposing oppressive COVID lockdown measures in major cities across China were drowned out last week by Chinese bots advertising pornography, escort services, and gambling. Air Moving Device, a Twitter account analyzing China through data graphs, showed charts indicating footage of widespread protests in Beijing, Shanghai, and other cities were nearly hidden from Chinese citizens to access information about the mass demonstrations. Where it says right here, data analysis in this thread suggests that there have been significant uptick in these spam tweets, the outlet said, sharing data retweeted by Stanford Internet Observatories. Chinese citizens flooded the streets after the Chinese Communist Party's zero COVID policy, preventing firefighters from rescuing residents locked inside a burning apartment building in Urumqi. Leaving at least 10 people dead, where we're thinking 44. But anyway, so Chinese bots are flooding Twitter with escort ads, possibly to make it more difficult for Chinese users to access information about the mass protests. Some of these acts have been dormant for years, only to become active yesterday after the protest broke out in China. So here's one of the examples, and I'm glad I'm not able to read Chinese and read that. Oh, look at this. They blotted that out. Mengyu Dong, appropriate name for this topic, a student data journalist at Stanford University shared images of some ads saying some of the accounts have been dormant for years, only to become active after protests broke out in China. In a series of tweets, Dong showed various inactive accounts created as far back as 2015. So they're fucking with the Chinese people by putting bots so they can't get information on these protests. And even Elon Musk has noticed it. Twitter experienced a slight degradation of service today from an old third-party tool used to block accounts that had no rate limit. Sigh, should be fixed now. So the Chinese are fucking with Elon Musk too. So let's move. We're going to move on a second here real quick. Thank you, Thomas Cleaver. What's up? Nice to see you in the chat and dropping a small bullet in the tip jar. And he says, I'm sorry, let me get this. Am I ready? Need to get my Kapow! Thank you very much, Thomas Cleaver. You want to sponsor the show? PDawgKnight.live, PDawgKnight.live, or Cyber Chats or whatever the other options in the description down below. Also, good morning to Fight for Our Rights. Nice to see you. All right. Oh, and Dumbbeard's in the house. What's up? All right. Let's keep. There's a couple more of these that I'm going to do real quick on China, and then we'll move on. Oops, I hit the wrong button. There we go. Also, a BBC journalist has been beaten and detained by the Chinese police, the CCP, Chinese Communist Party police, during a growing lockdown protest in China. BBC journalist Ed Lawrence was arrested Sunday night while covering anti-lockdown protests in Shanghai. Excuse me. And good morning, James PFP. Sorry, I got a little tickle right there. The BBC is extremely concerned about the treatment of our journalist Ed Lawrence, who was arrested and handcuffed while covering the protests in Shanghai. The BBC said in a statement posted on Twitter, he was held for several hours before being released. During his arrest, he was beaten and kicked by the police. This happened while he was working as an accredited journalist. Well, you know, I'm sure that's Donald Trump's fault. So there they are. They're taking him away. Anyway, so they don't want the rest of the world knowing about what's going on there. So also in a couple of related articles in PJ Media, I'll let you can read this one yourself. Chinese protests, Xi faces toughest test of his social credit controls. Now, this is interesting because let me just give you the lead here. Social credit, the automated denial of basic services for antisocial behavior, was supposed to serve as the linchpin of communist Chinese strongman Xi Jinping's increasingly totalitarian regime. But nationwide protests may put Xi's scheme to the test. Now, if you're tempted to compare the latest protest to the brutally suppressed Tiananmen Square protest of 1989, that could be a mistake. China specialist Gordon Chang told Fox News Monday, this is actually more dangerous than 1989, the Tiananmen Square massacre, because then the protesters really wanted to keep the Communist Party in place, but just wanted to replace some of the hardliners. Now, admittedly, Chang has made a career of predicting CCP's downfall, starting at least with the 2001 publication of his book, The Coming Collapse of China. There's a 21-year-old copy on my bookshelves downstairs, serving as a reminder of the folly of making predictions. But there is still at least some truth to what Chang says. Tiananmen Square was a protest largely of and by and for college students looking for a somewhat kinder, gentler CCP. Today, protests are mass events spread throughout the country and show sometimes violent frustration with the entire regime, particularly Xi's zero COVID lockdowns. But he also has a tool, this social credit score tool that they use in China, where they can really fuck with people badly, making it very hard for them to actually live. So anyway, this just has a lot more footage of the anti-lockdown protests if you're interested. But imagine living in a police state with cameras everywhere, transmitting images in real time to servers equipped with, among other things, facial recognition software, Beijing can easily tell who was where doing what. And data is everything. Armed with it, the government can do what Beijing reportedly did. Chinese government remotely switched all the protesters' COVID passports code to code red using facial recognition. That is some scary shit. I'm sorry. China blogger Song Ping Yang went on to explain that the code QR red in China means you need to do your time in a quarantine camp and pay for it. It isn't just COVID passports. Posting impolitic messages on WeChat, Chinese Twitter equivalent, can reduce someone's score to the point where they aren't allowed to board a plane or a train, hold a job, or access their checking account, and more. Now, they say as the system's not fully developed, but enough of it was in place when COVID struck, or dare I say escaped, to implement COVID passports. So this is... Ooh, yeah, JFK, they flipped a switch. Oh boy, because carbon footprint China. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, and then just the empty sheets of paper have become the symbol of outrage there. The blank sheet of paper has become the symbol of resistance among those protesting Beijing COVID lockdown policies showing up at protests across the nation. Videos and photos circulated online showing students across China holding up blank sheets of paper in silent protest, an effort to evade the country's draconian censorship laws. So you know what they mean when they hold up the sheet of paper. Pretty soon, you won't be able to have blank sheets of paper in China. Just saying. All right, let's move on. Oh, here, wrong there. Anyway, let's go back. Now, got some odds and ends, and then we're going to get into a couple more of the main topics here. Y'all know who Casey Anthony is, right? Remember her? She's that weirdo woman who killed her children. Apparently, is it a book she has out? Casey Anthony, Where the Truth Lies, lets the notorious mom, who was acquitted of killing her 2-year-old daughter, proclaim her innocence. It's apt to convince few and infuriate many. So there's a story of the Daily Beast. Her first interview since her 2011 acquittal. Casey Anthony turns on the waterworks, points fingers, and practically begs us to believe her. Better luck next time. In the 3-part Peacock docuseries, Casey Anthony, Where the Truth Lies, the notorious young woman repeatedly and forcefully contends that she had nothing to do with the apparent murder of her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee. It's Anthony's first TV interview since she was acquitted in 2011. Yet to buy anything that director Alexandra Hajjaj Dean's non-fiction venture is selling, namely absolving Anthony of responsibility for Kaylee's death and pointing the finger at her father, George, as an incestuous pedophilic rapist, requires believing Anthony herself. And given her long and well-publicized history of lying, that will probably be a bridge too far for most. So anyway, I don't know why. I have no idea why, but they're giving Casey Anthony a platform. But, I mean, she was acquitted, but anyone who watched that trial would be like, I don't know about that. Anyway, so they have a 3-part docuseries on her, and she gets to go on there and blame her husband or ex-husband, whatever he is, and anyway, it's an interesting article in the Daily Beast. Yay. Anyway, Cryptic is in the house. What's up, Cryptic? And Cryptic dropped a big bullet in the tip jar. Thank you, sir. Nice to see you back. Cryptic says, Xi Jinping is a fan of Tool. Shit music. No wonder he's acting like the dude from WW2 with weird mustache. Okay, well, there you go. I'm not sure. Tool, is that the band that does that? I'll be there for you. I'll be there for you. This is not a Is that Tool? Is that the right band? And someone let me know in the chat if that's the right can. Yes, Casey Anthony did do nothing. Also, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, for sponsoring the show one more time with another small bullet in the tip jar. Black Hebrew Israelite says, just like the trucker protest, the Biden administration is once again silent about another protest for freedom against lockdowns.
That's right.
They are actually encouraging the tyrannical crackdown against citizens wanting their freedom back from Castro's son.
That's right.
Yeah. that's I would say that's kind of accurate. I just don't understand. Anyway, thank you, Black Hebrews Life, for sponsoring the show. All right, next, let's move on. Oh, speaking of which, that's what I was going to mention next, because there's an article in PJ Media kind of on that note. Canadian Prime Trudeau, listen to this. Quote, using protests to demand changes to public policy is something that I think is worrisome. Oh, hello, Asian Research Directorate. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, inheritor of the neoliberal throne from his former PM father and his actual father, and admitted admirer of the Chinese dictatorship, appeared before a Public Order Emergency Commission to answer softball questions about his brutal crackdown last winter on freedom truckers protesting his arbitrary, nonsensical, anti-science vaccine mandates. Well, here's what this shitbag had to say. Did I say shitbag? I meant shitbag. Okay.
This morning, I had a direct call with President Biden.
This is
our shared challenge.
This is back. Okay, so this is discuss the call he had with U.S. President Biden Friday on the ongoing trucker convoy in Iowa. This is back in February. Now, remember, this was their trucker convoy, and Biden. Well, listen to this, and then tell me what you think really happened in this call between him and Biden.
This morning, I had a direct call with President Biden to talk about our shared challenges at the border. I updated him on the situation, particularly in Windsor.
Why? Why did he update Biden about this protest in Canada? Why was this a topic? Why was this an important topic conversation between the two? This is that call that a lot of people say Biden ordered him to smash that shit. I'm just saying.
Discussed the American and indeed global influences on the protest.
Because it was the excuse me. Let me find the right tone here. I think it's 4. No, it's 6. 5. It was the insurrectionists who influenced the Canadian truckers.
We talked about the U.S.-based flooding of the 911 phone lines in Ottawa, the presence of U.S. citizens in the blockades.
Oh my God! No!
Of foreign money to fund this illegal activity. President Biden and I both agree that for the security of people and the economy, these blockades cannot continue.
Why? Why does Biden agree about anything? He doesn't believe in freedom?
So make no mistake.
Make no mistake.
The border cannot and will not remain closed.
Okay. Good morning, Reaccion Puerto Rico, my friend. And also somebody else showed up. Who was it? Oh, Jesse Leon. What's up? Nice to see you. So anyway, importantly for U.S. domestic concern, Trudeau colluded, possibly unconstitutionally, with Joe Biden to crush the fully legal and legitimate protests at the Canadian Capitol. The GOP Congress should look into this in the next session, among many other desperately needed investigations. But here's via the CBC. The live test. Oh, wait, here it is. Is this it? How long is this?
You were concerned about setting a precedent where a blockade could equal
Stop it!
a change in public policy. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think we have a robust functioning democracy, and public protests are an important part of making sure we're getting messages out there, and Canadians are getting messages out there and highlighting how they feel about various issues.
But
using protests to demand changes to public policy is something that I think is worrisome.
Hi, Sydney Bishop. Nice. Welcome back. So anyway, yeah. Nonsensical woke word salad. One would expect, except for this little nugget that he dropped. And using protests to demand changes of public policy is something that I think is worrisome. So, apparently, if it's a public protest that he likes, no problem. If it's a public protest that makes him look like the dipshit, dim butt, booger that he is. I'm sorry, I had to disguise my calling him just a fucktard. Anyway, then it's worrisome. It is worrisome. But oh, wait a minute. What's this? Oh, who is that guy? And what is going on here in the middle of the pandemic? Remember that? In the middle of a pandemic, that's Justin Trudeau at a Black Lives Matter public policy protest. Wait a minute. How about this one? Here's another one. Oh, he's taking a knee. He's about to take a knee at a public protest on public policy. What the hell's going on here? What did he say? He said using protest to demand changes of a public policy is something that I think is worrisome. This is completely worrisome. I can't believe this jackhole took a knee. All right. Good God. Anyway, so like I said, if he likes the protest, well, I'll be right there with you. But if it's a protest against something that he's doing, fuck you! Fuck you! Anyway, God, I got to stop using that voice. It's awful. Thank you, Cryptic, for sponsoring the show one more time. It says on here that Cryptic, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much. Technically it's Gunfox61, but he did it before the show and I had reset the thing. So Cryptic, you are the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. With another big bullet in the tip jar, it says, Cryptic says, I heard China's president Xi Jinping is having a little red book made of his quotes like Mao Zedong had. I hope it will be called That's What She Said. Oh my. I need to get an oh my clip for this too. Just for Cryptic, because Asian on Asian crime. That was beautiful. Did you all? I was so busy laughing. I don't know if you heard it. His little red book of quotes, like Mao Zedong said. I hope it will be called That's What She Said. That's some funny shit, Cryptic. You're a funny motherfucker. All right, let's move on. This is the last one that Gunfox sent me, or is it maybe not? And so I'm just gonna go through it real quick because it's fascinating. Now I'm taking this one with a grain of salt a little bit because I know there are people in one of these groups that they're talking about in this article that this article may not be accurate. I'm just saying, but it's from Axios. And get this, human rights, LGBTQ plus organizations oppose Kids Online Safety Act. Now, why would they oppose the Kids Online Safety Act? Please give me your best answers in the chat. Dozens of human rights and LGBTQ plus organizations wrote to members of Congress Monday opposing a kids online safety bill they argue would not actually help make the internet a better place for children and teens. The letter comes as Senate sponsors of the Kids Online Safety Act push for passage in the lame duck session of Congress, calling it an important way to hold social media platforms accountable for harm to children in the absence of a broader U.S. online privacy law. What they're saying? Well, we believe that the privacy, online safety, and digital well-being of children should be protected. Groups including the ACLU, GLAD, Fight for the Future, Electronic Frontier Foundation, American Library Association, American Library, you know what's happening in them libraries, and Wikimedia Foundation write in the letter to senators, quote, however, the bill would undermine those goals by effectively forcing providers to use invasive filtering and monitoring tools, jeopardizing private, secure communications, incentivizing increased data collection on children and adults, and undermining the delivery of critical services to minors by public agencies like schools. The groups, right? Really? You wouldn't say that there would be like, so let's just take that last line. Undermining the delivery of critical services to minors by public agencies like schools. Really? How, you mean, what if you would have a sort of something, if there's a way to ensure that the delivery of services are in a secure or whatever manner, like a password protected site or something like that. Wouldn't that, I mean, what the hell are they talking about? The group says the bill's requirement that sites filter online content would lead to over-moderation and cut off members of, no pun intended, of marginalized younger groups who rely on online services to learn about sex education or access LGBTQ plus resources. They also argue the bill's parental supervision aspect would effectively require online services to enable parental surveillance of 15 and 16-year-olds by default and could harm teens experiencing domestic violence. They warn the bill could lead to sites inadvertently collecting more information from younger users than necessary because that's their job. Sorry, that's not what it says. Because of age verification requirements. Write your own punchline. I'm sorry. I am not a good look. This headline in Axios, not a good look because there's plenty of people in the LGB and I suppose even the TQ realm that would probably think that finding ways to protect kids from the bullshit that happens online is a good idea, but there's so many little lines in here that I could just make sound really bad because they do. I don't even have to do it. I don't even have to make them sound bad. They just sound bad. There's something wrong there. Anybody? Anybody? All right. Let's get into one of the main topics of the day. So Kanye West joined Tim Pool on the Timcast last night, the Timcast live stream, and things didn't go too well. Okay, and here's Viva Fry sums it up pretty well. Well, no, I don't even. Well, there's a whole lot of opinions on this. What happened was first, let's talk about what had happened. What had happened was, Kanye stormed out of the interview after pushback on anti-Semitism. Now that's the main headline, right? And it is kind of how it happened. So I'm going to give you the TMZ version of this. Kanye West stormed off of a podcast interview after the host challenged his negative views on Jewish people. It's all on video. Ye went on Tim Pool's podcast Monday, where he was joined by radical right-wing extremist Milo Yiannopoulos and controversial and proud white nationalist Nick Fuentes, who has an Hispanic last name. And it didn't take long for the conversation to get uncomfortable. Kanye starts railing on the Jews. After a few minutes of ranting, Tim starts to push back in the slightest of ways, and it's all it takes for Ye to hop out of his chair and bolt for the exit. Later on during the podcast, a producer says Ye, Milo, and Nick all left together in a car, claiming Ye told producers he wasn't angry with Tim, but his issue was getting cut off. As we reported, Kanye has been hanging out with Milo and Nick a lot recently, and he keeps doubling down on his, quote, anti-Semitic remarks, end quote. I put those in quotes because this whole thing's getting weird and weirder. So lots of people are talking about it. I'm not going to talk about it that much, but I will give you a couple people who have commented on it. Veva Fry, the former lawyer from Canada who now lives in Florida, says if Kanye West thinks they, quote unquote, were exploiting him, just wait until he realizes about the two he's hanging out with. Kanye is indeed being exploited from every angle and most importantly by present company. Timcast, you did good. He was looking to make a scene, as was his entourage. Now, the other day I talked about this because when Ye showed up at Mar-a-Lago and had Nick Fuentes, and remember I said the guy who had the guy I thought looked like Richard Spencer? That was Milo in one of those formerly known as fashy haircuts, right? That's what the left calls them, the fashy haircut, the clean sides and whatnot. In fact, here it is. There's Milo with his hair like that, but that's Milo, and he's reading a Bible. This is weird too. Tim Pool says, this is gonna be tonight on my show. They're gonna have this guy Nick Fuentes, and this guy Ye, and there's Milo in Ye's private jet. This was all just weird, and the more I don't pay attention to Nick Fuentes because I just have never found him the least bit compelling. He's a little twerp, and I don't get how Mr. White's better than ever. How he got connected to Kanye West and Milo Yiannopoulos, although I think Milo was, I don't remember who connected West and Milo, but it's just weird, and I think we just need to ignore them. Tim always been a worm, and Kanye peeped Tim was playing that two sides of the fence game when we know Tim is a leftist who's going to pander to YouTube to protect his flat platform. Well, Dolomite, I'm so confused by it anyway. And the other thing too, because Kanye kind of did make at one point made Tim look like an idiot because they started talking about identity politics, right? And where is this part about the identity politics? Oh, by the way, Alejandro Caraballo, the so-called wise Latina clinical instructor, Harvard Law Cyber Law Clinic. This is Taylor Lorenz's friend from Harvard, who says that clinical instructor, Harvard Law Cyber Law Clinic. But if you look at the Harvard staff, Alejandro's not teaching any classes there. We don't know why this bio came from. Maybe it did teach a class there at some point, but this is kind of plays into the playbook of how they want to shut down speech. And I don't give a fuck if Milo and Kanye and Nick talk wherever they want, and I don't care if they're on Twitter. But if they say some shithead stupid shit, I'm gonna call it out. And if they say something that is halfway intelligent, I'm probably gonna ignore them because I'm not a fan of any of them. But this person, Tim Pool is currently hosting a blatantly anti-Semitic stream on YouTube with Milo, Nick Fuentes, and Kanye West. They are all discussing how the Jews control everything. Why is YouTube hosting this? Now, see, this is one of those things where person is trying to get Tim Pool canceled off of YouTube. Now, what's funny is this is all part of a playbook, right? Now, to be fair, Kanye was on one of his rambling rants. Yes, he was. Anyway, this is where it always starts. And guess what? In the next week, I predict that somebody at the Washington Post, like Taylor Lorenz, and somebody at NBC like Ben Collins, and someone at CNN like Kat Tenbarge are all going to write hit pieces at the same time about how YouTube is, hosting shows with anti-Semitic rants, because that's what Alejandra Caraballo said. And they're gonna quote Alejandra Caraballo, because they always do, and then they'll say something about how they have some experts who say this, and some people in the know, people who are familiar with the situation saying that, and there's going to be another purge at YouTube, because that's how it works. Anyway, so here's when he rage quits the show.
I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking about.
It is them, though, isn't it? I mean, because because when you think about it, consider it. In 2018.
By the way, this is the only chance that this jackal's got to say anything. Anyway,
And it's not.
What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about?
And there goes Kanye. There he goes. There goes Ye.
Refer to the press.
He's gone. I'll say it right now. You guys want to bring that stuff up, and then think we're not going to have a conversation?
Have the discussion.
Like you think Ye's going to come in here and say, "Here's my pain, here's my suffering." I'm going to say, "I hear you," and then he's going to say, "And it was Jewish people," and I'm going to be like, "Okay, but don't you consider?" It's like, I'm not going to do this. I refuse.
Go, make sure he's cool.
All right, go for it, Luke and I.
Okay, so then Milo went to go. So here's now. I don't want to say much more about this, but I do want to show you something that what's her name? Ashley. Wait, what's her name? Amber Athey. She's usually there helping produce the show, but Ye didn't want a bunch of people around him, so some of the staff had to stay out of the room when they were doing the podcast, right? Now, what's really confused me is how hard leftists are going after Tim as a way to attack Tim's audience, who's on the right. Yeah, I know. That's the other funny part. Because actually, well, no, he's getting a lot of praise from some people, and as far as, well, it didn't, at least he pushed back on Ye and it caused him to go back, right? But yeah, it's weird. Just there's a weird, because there are people on the left who are saying, hey, Tim did the right thing here. And I don't really know what Tim did other than ask a question that Kanye didn't like. But in the aftermath of this, okay, this person, Abernathy, is that Amber? Abernathy. Okay, just call her Abernathy. Okay. Gave a little bit of the behind the scenes thing. And she explained how that they didn't want the staff in there. They were only want the people seated at the table in the podcast, blah, 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 because Kanye doesn't like people around him. But after he walked out, this is interesting. And you can read the rest of this on your own. Let's see. I'm going to go to the part after he walked out. So she says, I was sitting in the basement and could hear doors slamming upstairs, but when I went up to the kitchen, Ye was gleefully holding court. He seemed in better spirits than he had the entire night, perhaps because the pressure of the program was off. One of the show's regulars, Hannah Claire Brimlow, was telling Ye that she wished he had more time to share his views because people needed to hear them. Eventually, Yiannopoulos confirmed that the car they ordered had arrived. Ye grabbed several Simple Mills brand nut butter stuffed sandwich cookies off the kitchen counter and munched on them on the way out. So he stole Tim's cookies on the way out. He smiled and said goodbye to the crowd of people waving him off. Apparently, there were people out there around, and he was kind of annoyed when he came in that there was a crowd there. After a few minutes, the car finally pulled away. The Zimcast staff seemed torn on how to feel about the entire encounter. Some thought Poole had pressed too hard on Ye too early in the interview. He didn't really press that hard. Others thought Ye was being a baby. Overall, they seemed disappointed that Ye didn't stay longer and have a real full-throated discussion. Poole recounted Yiannopoulos' previous appearance on the show and wondered aloud if Yiannopoulos was deploying Ye to sabotage Trump for revenge. Now! That's where I go back to that little ambush at Mar-a-Lago. Because apparently, if you weren't aware of this, by the way, Maya Yiannopoulos is Kanye West's campaign manager. Because remember, Kanye, Ye is that's his name, the formerly known as Kanye West. Ye is running for president. And as I think about it, I remember how because Donald Trump has said, I don't even know who this Nick Fuentes is. I believe that because people who know who Nick Fuentes is are pretty much internet culture people. Trump's not necessarily internet culture people, although he's Twitter, he used to be a big Twitter guy. And again, Ye was invited to Mar-a-Lago, and he said, I'm going to bring some friends. And Trump's like, whatever, you and I are tight, we know each other, and he shows up with these two, and I just think this line, wondering aloud if Indianapolis was deploying Ye to sabotage Trump for revenge, that seems plausible to me. How about you? Just put a yes or no in the chat. Does that seem plausible that Indianapolis is trying to damage Trump? I think it's possible. Anyway, if you want to read, now we're going to move on. We're going to move on to something else. But yeah, do you think it's plausible that Indianapolis is trying to sabotage Trump? Put a yes or no in the comment section or in the chat. Moving on. Let's get to the Apple. The main now for the main event. Elon Musk versus Apple. And this actually I'm going to keep this one short too, but remember what I predicted when all of those hit pieces came out on Sunday regarding the people who are going to be coming back to Twitter, the amnesty, right? Hello, pissed off Shih Tzu. I said all those hit pieces coordinated at the same time pretty much follow a pattern. Somebody at the White House, and by the way, at the press conference at the White House, the daily press gaggle they have in the briefing room, someone asked the question. In fact, I wonder if I bookmarked that. Let me see if I hope I bookmarked that. Let me see here. Check my bookmarks here. Here it is. I did. Good. Here we go. This is an interesting question from a White House reporter because this is all coming in within 1 week, where they had all these hit pieces on Elon Musk about Twitter. All these people, advertisers, were chased off and are withholding advertising, and now he's having this fight with Apple. Remember, I said, these activists, aka journalists, we're all saying, well, yeah, maybe they should take it off of Apple Store and the Google Play Store, right? Then there's this question from a journalist at the White House press briefing. Oh, great. Hang on. Listen to this question.
Concerned about
if the White House is concerned about
Elon Musk says there's more and more subscribers coming online. Are you concerned about that? And what tools do you have? Who is it at the White House that is really keeping track of this?
Okay. Are you concerned about Elon Musk's claims that more and more subscribers are joining Twitter? And what tools do you have to she didn't say combat, but what tools do you have to prepare yourself for these claims, right? Listen to this answer.
So look, this is something that we're certainly keeping an eye on. And
Why? What business is it of the White House to keep an eye on what happens on Twitter, a social media platform where people can speak their minds? Huh? What is the White House doing monitoring this at all? There's a problem here. Because remember, something else that's trending today is First Amendment. We'll get to it.
Look, we have always been very clear, and that.
No, you haven't. You're never clear about anything. Everything you say, someone already said in the chat. Word salad, absolute word salad. Hello, pissed off Shih Tzu. Nice to see you. And Atheist Icon, welcome back.
When it comes to social media platforms, it is their responsibility to make sure that.
Wait, what?
We have always been very clear. And that when it comes to social media platforms, it is their responsibility to make
for
sure
what?
that when it comes to misinformation, when we come to the hate that we're seeing,
none of your business.
that they take action, that they continue.
None of your fucking business. You have there is nothing that you are allowed to do based on the Constitution of the United States of America on what they are doing and what people say on social media. Now, if they decide they're going to do something about that's up to them, but it's not up to you. But there's been this coordination. Remember, there's going to be something coming out here soon, too.
To take action. Again, we're all keeping a close eye on this.
Why?
We're all monitoring what's currently occurring. And we see it with our own eyes of what you all are reporting, and just for ourselves.
Oh, what we are reporting. Oh, remember the articles that all came out on the same day? That wasn't a coordinated attack on this. Never seen anything like that before, have we? Oh, yeah, we see it all the time.
It's happening on Twitter. But again, social media companies have a responsibility to prevent their platforms from being used by any user to incite violence, especially violence directed
Are you saying they did? Are you saying they did? Answer that question, and please give it a specific example. Okay? Remember, there's a reason they wrote Section 230. No, they don't. They don't have responsibility. In fact, they're shielded from that kind of stuff. And the individuals who do that kind of stuff are the ones who are liable for it because of Section 230. Now, that's why the left wants to get rid of Section 230, because they want to be able to, lawsuits are a lot better when you can get the big pockets.
Individual communities.
Okay. Anyway, so there's a couple. You probably already heard about all this thing with the App Store and whatever. Elon Musk says Apple threatened to remove Twitter from the App Store. In the New York Times, Elon Musk takes on Apple's power, setting up a clash. In a series of tweets Monday, Musk accused Apple of threatening to pull Twitter from its App Store. And that's where he says here, Apple has mostly stopped advertising on Twitter. Do they hate free speech in America? Which a lot of people are like, well, free speech in America is only if the government does it. Well, whatever. In spirit, it should also be in all aspects of our society. Anything that's not illegal, you should be free to say without fear of a clampdown from some corporations, because now it's the corporations are doing the government's bidding. Oh, what's that called? Fascism. Anyway, so in the daily, and so it's all over. I've got several articles that'll be in the links below. Go to war. Musk targets Apple, claiming it canceled ads, threatened to boot the Twitter from the App Store. Here's another one. Now Elon Musk puts out a series of tweets. Apple should publish all censorship action it has taken that affects its customers. Yeah, they should. Also, Musk shared a meme suggesting he would rather go to war with Apple than pay 30%, because anything you do on your iPhone. So, for example, if you pay for something on an app through your iPhone, did you know that Apple always gets 30% of that? So, for example, you do a super chat on YouTube, okay, but you do it on your iPhone YouTube app. Apple takes a cut of that also. So that it could be up to 60% of your super chat through the iPhone goes to somebody else than the person you're sending it to. that's why I encourage people to do that stuff on their browsers, or if you like, for example, if you join Locals at $5, but you do it through the Locals app on your iPhone, Apple gets 30% of that. So if you do join my, become a member on my Locals page, do it on a browser, please. So anyway, so it's funny because Tim Cook, who's the chairman of Apple, in 2018 said at an event in New York City that tech companies have a moral obligation to ban certain people and certain types of content from social media and technology platforms, going so far as to suggest that not banning them is a sin. Look, here's the other part that pisses me off about this. Apple is a tool that I buy to use the way I need to use it, or I want to use it. Who the hell is Apple to tell me whether or not I can have Twitter on my phone? Or you know, it's not their job to protect anybody. I'm an end user of a product. Once I buy your product, how I use it's my fucking business, and it's not yours. Apple can fuck right off, and I may, if they start doing some bullshit, I may have to go back to Androids, or maybe the new Tesla phone. That may happen. So anyway, if you go to Apple's Twitter page, they deleted all their tweets from their Apple Twitter page. Now, Apple Music, Apple Tech, Apple Help, and all that still all have tweets on them, but the official Apple Twitter page no longer has any tweets. That's wild, isn't it? And then now, here's the other thing that Musk is going to do, though, because remember how the White House was coordinating with different social media companies, and Twitter has had all these meetings and how they do stuff, whatever. Well, now that Musk owns the company, he's going to release files on how Twitter suppressed free speech. Oh, snap. Twitter CEO Elon Musk said Monday that he will soon be releasing files on how the social media platform has engaged in suppressing free speech. I wonder if there's going to be, if these files include illegal collusion between members of the United States government, like the Biden administration, and these safety councils and shit that advise the social media companies on what things they should suppress, maybe the FBI. Anyway, quote, the Twitter files on free speech suppression soon to be published on Twitter itself, Musk tweeted. The public deserves to know what really happens. Oh, are we going to see some election interference? I bet we do. Musk reported to a user earlier this month who tweeted, raise your hand if you think Elon Musk should make public all internal discussions about the decision to censor the New York Post story on Hunter Biden's laptop before the 2020 election. In the interest of transparency, he replied, this is necessary to restore public trust. Oh, I see an audit in Elon Musk's future and maybe an FBI visit. The New York Post first reported messages from Biden's laptop in October 2020, weeks before the presidential election. Social media giants, including Twitter, cracked down on the story to prevent its spread. Current and former national security officials claimed at the time that the Biden story was likely Russian disinformation and a veiled attempt from Moscow to intervene in U.S. elections. Media outlets such as the Washington Examiner, CBS News, the New York Times, and the Washington Post have confirmed the laptop's contents and messages in part regarding foreign business deals Hunter Biden worked on in Ukraine, China, and elsewhere. Ukraine and China and elsewhere. Twitter initially banned the Post stories, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey later admitted that Twitter made a mistake. Oh, it was just a mistake in taking action against the Post over its Biden laptop story. Apparently, Elon Musk is going to release those files on the whole damn story. Oh, I don't know if I can get a big enough bowl of popcorn for that one. Moving on. Now, let's move on. This is CNN had a story. An ex-CIA wonk explaining the dangers of free speech. They have the video. Oh, they don't have the video. But anyway, What do leftists, those stalwart defenders of our democracy, really think about our constitutional freedoms? We got a bracing insight into the question on CNN Friday when ex-CIA analyst and current CNN intelligence and security analyst Robert Baer explained. Is this the clip? Maybe I just want to see the clip. Is it too long? Let's see here. CIA. Oh, here we go. Here he is. It's a minute long. Well, minute 20 seconds. Former CIA analyst on Elon restoring banned Twitter accounts. Listen to this. Listen to this bullshit.
Move that's raising some serious national security concerns. New Twitter owner Elon Musk says that he's going to begin
national security
restoring...
concerns. This is, again, they use this language, trying to make everything sound like it's just the end of the world. You know, when Taylor Lorenz writes her stories and talking about, puts the worst possible innuendo that she can find to describe people, for example. This is, again, national security concerns. National security concerns. Oh, no!
Previously banned accounts next week. That includes users banned for threats and harassment. Musk announced
that includes users banned for threats and harassment. And remember how Taylor Lorenz worded that. Elon Musk said he's going to restore accounts who were making threats and harassment, blah, blah, blah. Not the fact that he just said he's going to have an amnesty for people who've been banned, but she put those words in his mouth.
Announced the decision after conducting an online poll. He tweeted, quote, "The people have spoken. Amnesty begins next week." And then in Latin, the voice of the people is the voice of God. Joining us now is CNN intelligence and security analyst Bob.
CNN intelligence and security analyst. So this makes this, again, this is one of those, what do you call it? The something authority fallacy, whatever. I mean, they find some left-wing, dickbag who has a title, who says what they want him to say. So here's what they want him to say.
Bob Baer. Bob, thanks for joining us. We hope you're enjoying the Thanksgiving holiday. I'm curious to get your reaction to these accounts being reinstated.
Well, Boris, I can tell you one thing. Putin is going to be all over Twitter. If there's no...
Oh, my God. Vladimir Putin's going to be all over Twitter. Oh, my God. Russian disinformation. You mean like the laptop story, you fucking asshole? Oh, God, I'm swearing now. They got me. They got me now. Like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yes, appeal to authority fallacy. Yeah, oh, my God. Putin, that's the first thing that came out of his mouth? Are you serious? Oh, my God. Somebody the other day said, if Putin ever died, we have no idea what would happen. They would have no one to blame.
No regulations on this.
Fuck me.
Fake accounts, spoofed accounts, the rest of it. This is a great opportunity for him.
He's talking about the popular voice,
Musk, he's really talking about Russian intelligence.
What? You mean, so now instead of the White House telling Twitter what to do and what to publish and what to hold off on and who to ban, it's going to be Putin now? Is that what you're saying? Oh my God, this you got to be kidding. This guy.
The Russians are waiting for something like this. They need a propaganda campaign against the United States. That Russian boogeyman is just so strong. Ukraine, and they're going to be all over Twitter. I guarantee this. Supporting the far right.
Oh my God.
Plans, demands to stop arming Ukraine. So you just wait.
This is the full court press. This is the full court press that they're doing, and this is why advertisers get nervous, because the advertisers know that if they do not stay in line, if they step out of line even a little bit, and start advertising Twitter. That's how these assholes are going to smear them too. It's unbelievable. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, putting another a small bullet in the tip jar. Look, Black Hebrew Israelite, I appreciate this, but this is one that gets me in trouble. Like Dave Chappelle said, there's one group in the world that can't be ridiculed or opposed if you want to have a successful career in Hollywood. Yes, Hollywood producers. Leave it that. Thank you very much. Starting with the two words that you're not allowed to put together. Anyway, look, let me just explain something about Hollywood. Back when Hollywood was becoming a thing, okay, there's a reason why there is a heavy influence of certain peoples that you can't put their names together. Because back then, theater was everything. Okay, theaters, live theater around the country was everything, and Hollywood was kind of this kind of dirty, silly thing that nobody thought was going to work, right? And so that's the only place that that particular set of brethren could work if they wanted to be in show business. But what happened was they did such a great job with it that particular industry took off, and so. It just happened. It's just kind of, you know what I mean. It just happened. It's this how it is, and more power to them. How are you going to disparage successful people in the United States of America? That's the way I see it. Okay. All right. This jackhole. Holy moly. Anyway. All right. I got to get this. I just realized what time it is. I'm running late. So I'm going to move on. Biden family excludes Hunter Biden's daughter from the Christmas stockings, the second year in a row. Speaking of laptop stories, the Biden family unveiled the 2022 White House Christmas decorations on Monday, hanging a stocking for each of President Joe Biden's grandchildren, other than the daughter Hunter Biden had out of wedlock. 9 stockings hanging above the fireplace, including those for Hunter Biden, his ex-wife, Kathleen Bullitt, or Hunter Biden and Kathleen Bullitt's children, his ex-wife, Naomi, Finnegan, and Maisie, and the children of the late Beau Biden and his widow Hallie, Natalie, and Hunter. One stocking was labeled Baby, an apparent reference to Hunter Biden's 2-year-old son, Beau, whom he fathered with Melissa Cohen. There were also stockings for Peter Neal, who married Naomi Biden on November 19th, as well as Commander and Willow, the White House dog and cat. Biden's family seemingly chose not to hang a stocking for Hunter Biden's daughter, Navy Joan Roberts, whom he fathered out of wedlock with a hooker in somewhere in Arkansas. So anyway, so no stocking for the bastard child. All right, let's see. Oh, let me finish with this story, because even though I've got a lot more, this one's the funniest story of the day. There was a guy, well, it was a guy, I don't know what he claims to be now. He claims to be a nothing, named Samuel Brinton, and he's the nuclear waste commission in the United States of America. He's got a civil service job, even though they were so happy to have this non-binary guy who wears dresses in their administration, just to match all the other unusual people there. Hello, Hey Camel. And stripper. She was a stripper, not a hooker. Close enough. Anyway, Samuel Brinton there was this notice. Brinton on leave of absence from the Department of Energy. Now go figure. And someone named Petrie asked to stay on as acting nuclear waste chief. So this was the nuclear waste chief, Samuel Brinton. Now Samuel Brinton's an unusual individual, but it says with Samuel Brinton on leave of absence for the Department of Energy, Captain Petrie was asked to stay on as the acting deputy assistant secretary for spent fuel and waste disposition for the foreseeable future. She wrote an email to colleagues last week. Now, there's a reason. Sam Brinton is maybe on a leave of absence, and that's because Samuel Brinton has committed felony theft. Yes, this Samuel Brinton, this guy, the guy who had some kink workshops back in the day, controversial energy official charged with stealing woman's luggage, Oh my gosh, MSP, that's the Minneapolis and St. Paul Airport. The MIT grad went viral earlier this year when he announced his new role as the Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Office of Spent Fuel and Waste Disposition in the U.S. Department of Energy. So he's Samuel Britton, one of the first openly gender-fluid individuals in federal government leadership, was charged with felony theft last month after allegedly stealing a woman's luggage at the Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport. Now, we don't need to care about this gender-fluid part. Let's talk about what happened. Law enforcement at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport were alerted to a missing suitcase in the baggage claim area on September 16th. The adult female victim said she flew to Minneapolis-St. Paul on a Delta flight from Nolens and went to retrieve her checked bag at Carousel 7. I didn't know there are not 7 carousels at Minneapolis-St. Paul. There's 5. Well, maybe there is. I don't know. Maybe there's a 7. Airport records confirmed the navy blue Vera Bradley roller bag arrived at 4:40 p.m. but was missing from the carousel. So law enforcement reviewed the video surveillance footage from the baggage claim area and observed Brinton removing the navy blue roller bag from Carousel 7, according to a criminal complaint. The complaint says Brinton removed the luggage tag from the bag, placed it into a handbag he was carrying, and then left the area at a quick pace. Brinton arrived at MSP Airport around 4:27 p.m. on an American Airlines flight from Washington, D.C., but did not check a bag, meaning he had no reason to visit baggage claim, according to the complaint. Police showed the surveillance video to the victim, and she confirmed it was her bag. Brinton left the airport on an Uber for a stay at Intercontinental St. Paul Riverfront Hotel, where he checked in with the blue bag. The complaint said he returned to MSP on September 18th with a bag in hand for a departing flight back to Washington, D.C., authorities allege. Now, it gets a little spicier. Surveillance footage from Dulles Airport shows Brinton traveling with the bag on an October 9th return trip from Europe. The complaint notes the victim said the estimated value of the bag and its contents was around $2,325. That's why it's a felony. Police questioned Brinton about the missing bag on an October 9th phone call. They asked him directly if he took anything that did not belong to him. Not that I know of, Brinton allegedly responded. He later admitted to taking the bag, but said the clothes inside were his. Oh, that's interesting. According to the complaint, if I had taken the wrong bag, I'm happy to return it, but I don't have any clothes for another individual. That was my clothes when I opened the bag, he told police, according to the complaint. Well, how would it be your clothes if it wasn't your bag, you dumbass? But Brinton allegedly called the investigating officer 2 hours later and apologized for not being completely honest. This time, Brinton said he took the bag because he was tired and thought it was his. The complaint said, wait a minute. How could it be his? First of all, he came on a different flight than the bag came from. Second, he never checked the bag on the flight he was on. So he had no reason to be in the baggage claim area. He's a lying piece of shit. And guess what? Oh, by the way, then he eventually admitted that he said he brought the bag back to D.C. with him because it would have been weirder to leave a bag in the hotel room. He told police told Brinton how to return the bag to Delta, but as of October 27th, the victim still had not received her bag back. Police also learned that no clothing was recovered from the hotel room. Now, his first court hearing is scheduled for December 19th in Hennepin County. I may have to go to that. I just might have to. But how much do you want to bet? First of all, I'm going to guess this is not the first time that this asshole has done this. Clearly, he intentionally went and stole a bag. There's no way that that's not what happened. It wasn't his bag. His flight was from a different location. So when, and especially in Minneapolis, St. Paul, as flights come in two flights are not going to have bags going on the same carousel. So if he's coming from Washington, D.C., his bag is not going to be on a carousel that is bringing in bags from a flight from New Orleans. In fact, probably I'm going to say, well, no, that's not happening. This is not I bet if they went and looked at flights of his and surveillance video of flights he's been on over the years, they're going to find him taking bags. I bet they're going to match bags that are missing in airports everywhere he goes. That's just a hunch. It's just a hunch. So, anyway, this one's going to be interesting. All right. There's a couple articles on that in the links if you want that I'll have at the end of the show. In fact, I'll just go through some of the last headlines before I get out of here. Biden's nuclear drag queen stole some women's clothing. I wonder where he gets all those fabulous clothes. And then I think here's actually a copy of the complaint, state of Minnesota, county of Hennepin. The offensive date, 9/16/22. And that's the criminal complaint and summons. And I don't think it shows. Does it show when the arraignment's going to be? Anyway, it goes through this whole thing. If you want to read that, that might be for another video. But anyway, the summons, complaint. Yeah, maximum sentence of this too: 5 years in prison, $10,000 fine, or both, and it's a felony. So anyway, fascinating. That complaint is in the list. Let's see. What else do I have here? I'm not going to get to these. Don't be fooled. Antifa is America's Nazis in PJ Media. It's an editorial by Kevin Downey Jr. And the reason I think he's writing that is because Twitter has banned multiple Antifa accounts after threats and attempts to burn down Tesla dealerships. So these assholes put on Twitter that they were going to do all this shit. And their accounts were suspended because they threatened to burn down Tesla dealerships. And I think they've been doing some vandalizing in some of them. Anyway, also on PJ Media, another way the SEC is under Biden is helping activists take over corporate America. Take over corporate America. These motherfuckers have taken over America, period. And I'm thinking about doing a video on this, how, all those SJWs from 2014, 2015, 2016, and all the Tumblr, the Tumblr feminists, all those people are running America right now. They're all infected in companies, in social media, in government, and all those SJWs that we used to call them SJWs, they are currently running America. And this is one of the ways they get into it. And let's see. Other articles, voters are saying, drill, baby, drill. Yeah, we need to produce oil. Our strategic oil reserves is down to the lowest level, I think, since 1980. Not good. And then finally, Americans need a six-figure salary to afford a median-priced home. So now the median, the annual salary required to afford the median home price, typical home surges more than 45% since the same time last year, to reach $2,682. What is that? That's the monthly mortgage payment. The annual salary required to afford such a property has increased from $73,668 to $107,281. Average hourly wages have nominally increased 5% over the same period as inflation continues to erode consumer purchasing power. I just thought, it's interesting because one of my nieces now has a real estate license in San Diego, and she's a new realtor, and she already has a couple listings, and they're over $1 million homes. But you go out and see $1 million home in like Los Angeles or San Diego, it's like a 2-3 bedroom rambler. I mean, it like maybe 1,500 square feet, and you're talking over $1 million for one of those. Where here, you're still under, you probably get it around 200, 250 maybe. It's insane real estate out there. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I got to go. It's snowing, and I'm already running late, so I should probably get cracking. Thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. If you'd be so kind, hit the like button, share the stream, and do all that stuff that we ask you to do every day. Sponsor the show 24 hours a day, Dawg Knight Live. Thank you to our sponsors today, Black Hebrew Israelite, Cryptic, Thomas Cleaver, Kapow, and GunFox61, who is the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day, along with Cryptic. I'll give you both credit. Anyway, I got to go, guys. I'll put the links up when I get home this afternoon. I'll update those links and put them in the description of the videos if you want to come back and find those things. Thank you. I got to go. My name's Dawg Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.